Speaking of Boeing products,
play the video, sir.
757.
Yeah.
From San Francisco had to divert to Boston due to a broken slat.
Yeah. Look at that. You know, in all honesty, I don't really think
a lot of questions.
There's not a ton of danger there in my eyes. And my question is, I thought that was a metal piece, but it looks composite.
It's all honeycomb. Yeah, honeycomb metal. Maybe it was metal at one point. It's not anymore. That's why it fell apart.
But the leading edge of a 7.5 is, I didn't know that leading edge slat was composite. I thought it would be metal, but I guess I'm wrong.
Well, maybe it's supposed to be metal, and that's why it looks like
that. Maybe they didn't get the memo. Oh, crap. This one's not balsa wood.
This is what happens when you put too much speed tape on for too many years. It turns into just paper mache.
According to Flying Magazine, here's what happened. There was a very large vibration. United Flight 354 diverted to Denver to address an issue. Flight landed safely, arranged for a different aircraft to take customers on their way. Kevin Clark identifies a passenger on board who said he heard an incredibly loud vibration as the jet took off. He then looked out the window and saw that the damaged wing slat and used his cell phone to record images that he shared with the media. Other passengers posted pictures as well. According to Clark, one of the pilots, at about 45 minutes into it, came into the cabin and looked out the window at the torn up wing, and then returned to the cabin, activated the public address system to tell the passengers there was some damage to the wing, and the aircraft was going to divert to Denver, where they were put on another airliner and continue. So, Wombat, is that something you would do?
I don't, that's a good point. I actually was just thinking to myself as you were reading it, is that something I would do? And I mean, without having much thought, which obviously I would hope I'd have more thought plain. I mean, if people are saying something like that, because what is the message? Let's play the telephone game. And I'm not knocking the passenger. I'm not knocking the flight attendants. But play that telephone game of, dude, the wing is coming apart. They don't understand what part of the wing unless they're into aviation, right? So the wing is literally coming apart. Tell that to the flight attendant, who then calls the cockpit and says, and I hear, what do I hear? I mean, even if I hear the wings coming apart, I'm like, well, it still seems to be working. So maybe I do actually want to go back there and get eyes on. Now, obviously, as a good captain, I'd send my FO because I'm not going through. But seriously, maybe you do want to get eyes on. I don't know. There's times where I have walked back to check icing on the wings prior to taxi because I looked at it when we did our pre-flight, but I'd like to look at it again. And I'm sure that looks weird to passengers when I'm bebopping down the aisle and I'm like, that looks pretty slick. And I usually try to make a joke what do you guys think? We're all voting members, and then they don't laugh, and I wonder why I'm not on Twitter. But so, I mean, I don't know if I go back there. No, I do not. It goes on the hook, and it usually gets left there until the FO hands it to me.
I want to know if you wear the hat.
Do you want this?
How do they know you can't be the captain without your hat?
I think most people would be surprised how little SA pilots have of anything behind the door. Including the rest of the airplane.
Well, you can't see any of it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like a fighter. It's what's that vibration? And you look over your shoulder at the wing. You're like, oh crap, the slat's coming apart.
The wing's over there. You're like, oh, that's not good. That was supposed to be.
I mean, it's you bring up a good point, Wombat. It's hey, Bubbles is telling me that the
Bubbles.
I don't know. Pick a name.
Who is? What are you flying? Like a stripper airline?
Whatever.
You don't fly for Spirit, bro. We all know that. It's not Bubbles.
Good Lord, Bubbles.
Whatever.
Candy Bubbles. First Officer Gonky, assisted by Candy and Bubbles in the back.
Captain,
here's the other thing.
The wings coming apart.
Well, here's the other thing I would do is I like to know when I have deadheaders, non-revs, stuff like that in the back.
Yeah. Yeah,
because I would 100% take the work, be like, hey, why don't you have so-and-so's deadheading, look out the window nonchalantly.
Oh, this is the moment everybody waits for is are there any pilots on board that can go look at
No, not pilots, airline.
Somebody who's got...
They're very different. I don't need somebody that has 2 hours in a Cessna and an AOPA hat on to tell me what's wrong with my wing.
Send all hate mail.
Well, I'm just saying.
TR Matson, not to the show.
Well,
I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
I didn't know what I was doing at 2 hours. So
yeah, all joking aside, is you want a set of trained eyes giving
Yeah,
you
100%.
accurate. You
Are
need
you
in
trained
order.
eyes, Gonky?
No,
That's a
that's
whole
why he would
nother
ask for
podcast.
somebody in the back. He would
Yeah, that's
he would
why I
hope
would
that
ask
I was
Bubbles.
non-revving.
Bubbles, while you're getting my Fresca, can you look out the window and tell me what you
Bubbles.
see?
Does
So,
Bubbles
do we
look
have
like
any
Gonky in a
snacks?
blonde wig?
It does.
Just-
Yeah.
it-
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah,
Bubbles,
I think I don't think I would write off having somebody get eyes on something like that, because that is
Oh, of course
so
not.
abnormally weird.
Yeah,
I just think about I think about what is the message that the passenger gave, I'm assuming the flight attendant, who then what does that telephone game sound like? And I can't imagine it would be good.
the wing is falling off.
dude,
Yes,
so
that's probably yes.
The wing's
It's
falling
one of the
apart.
reasons, one of the reasons when I teach new captains, I go, listen, if you have, say we're diverting, right? We're coming into Dulles and we are Reagan and we have to go over to Dulles because Reagan's closed. You know what? You're busy. Load shed that. If you have a good flight attendant, hey, can you make a PA that we're diverting over to Dulles? We'll give you some more information when we get on the ground. Oh, great idea, right? Because I trust that every one of our flight attendants can make that announcement. If I have a non-normal that I'm dealing with, that's the last thing I want to do, because as soon as I go, hey, so we have the yellow hydraulic system failed, but the other two are working fine, but you're going to hear the barking dog, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I unkey it, I don't know if they're going to turn around and be like, we're all going to die. I have no idea. So I'm going to make that PA. That's the
only on Hooters Airlines, which Gonky apparently flies for.
What's their pay scale? Can we talk
Wasn't
about that?
that that was a TV show, LA to Vegas, where all the
No, it was
strippers.
It
real
was.
airline.
That was a. It was. Yeah.
It was a
it
TV
was
show though, with Dylan McDermott.
I thought it was hilarious, that TV show, by the way.
what was the real TV show? Hooters
LA to
Airline?
Vegas. Yeah,
LA to
LA to
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, because that's like the strippers for the weekend would fly from LA to go work their stripper jobs
Yeah.
on the weekend, and it was
That was a
little-
great show that got canceled. It was a great show. It was
Yeah.
very accurate. It was. I like that show because it's probably more accurate than the airlines, much like how Top Gun is not as accurate as Hot Shots to the Navy.
We didn't get
basically
those
True.
shows in the kingdom. Sorry.
All right, moving on. Thank you for that